Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is expected to address U.S. policy in both Afghanistan and Pakistan later this morning at a Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing. The committee chairman, Senator John Kerry of Massachusetts, joins us now from Capitol Hill. Senator, good to have you with us this morning.
Good morning, Erica. Glad to be with you.
There's criticism, as Chip Reed laid out for us, which was expected from both sides, but a fair amount of criticism from within your own party, the party of the president, and some folks saying that what the president really needed to do here was to announce a change in strategy, in addition to these numbers, that this is now a counterterrorism effort, not a counterinsurgency effort. How important is that distinction? What would it actually change?
Well, I think the president, by definition, has changed the equation. And I'm really, I think, missing from all of the criticism on both sides is a recognition of the fact that this drawdown will begin to change the politics. It changes the political calculation for everybody on the ground in Pakistan as well as in Afghanistan. Nobody's sort of talking about how that dynamic changes. Remember, President Bush, Dick Cheney, Don Rumsfeld, ultimately Secretary Gates, all were willing to set a date in Iraq. And the reason they could set the date in Iraq is because there had been a level of success. The same thing is true today in Afghanistan. The surge worked. The surge has put the Taliban on their heels. The surge has changed the political calculation on the ground. And now I believe it's important for the Afghans to begin to do what they have done for centuries before we came there, which is begin to make the accommodations and the choices about their own future.
Are you confident that they are actually able to do that, Senator, that when the U.S. fully leaves in 2014, the U.S. is leaving behind a country that can not only take care of itself, but that will not return to being a haven for terrorists?
Well, I am confident about our ability to prevent the latter from happening, and it doesn't take a whole lot of troops to be able to prevent that from happening. I believe that considerably fewer troops than the 67,000, 8,000 that will be left there, even after we withdraw from the surge, considerably fewer than that can prevent the Taliban from taking over the country. So I think you have to look at sort of what's the reality here. Everybody has consistently said there is no political solution. I mean, no military solution. If there is no military solution, then you better go hunt for the political one. And I believe what the president is doing is creating the dynamic where the political has a greater possibility of taking shape.
In terms of the political, you mentioned Pakistan. Secretary Clinton will be addressing it later today. There is so much talk about how much of this fight has actually moved into Pakistan, the original fight that started there 10 years ago. Having recently returned from Pakistan, are you confident that the Pakistanis actually see this as enough of a priority?
I believe, I actually talked yesterday with General Kiani, the chief of the forces in Pakistan, and I remain convinced that the Pakistanis have interests which could be better aligned with our interests. They are not aligned as we talk today, and that's part of the problem. The Pakistanis, I've said this so many times over the last few years, the Pakistanis are really the most important key to resolving the issues of Afghanistan and their own issues. And I think there's more that we can do in order to be able to align our interests in a way that helps to create a regional solution here. I think we need more diplomacy, less military effort. And that's what President Karzai is telling us. And it seems to me, if the president of the country we're trying to help keeps telling us, you know, you're sort of being viewed as an occupying force, and it's counterproductive, and it's making life difficult for Afghans, we ought to listen to him.
Well, we'll continue to talk about this and specifically more about the Pakistan element as well. Senator John Kerry, thanks for your time.
Thanks.